And here's my next step, guys. Flyers are not a strategy. For some odd reason, so many social media managers and people think that posting hundreds of flyers in repetition promoting your conference or events is a winning strategy. From my experience, it's really not. A couple reasons why I think we continue to try this flyer heavier approach are: it's easy. That's the first thing, right? Making a quick flyer inside of Canva and posting it, it's easy, so we do it. And also, it allows us to post consistently. We can post 7 flyers 7 times a week, and we check off that consistency box, which we all think is so important. It is important, but if we're only posting flyers, that means we're neglecting literally everything else. Another reason I believe we continue to see this flyer heavy approach by some organizations is that we may hire an overseas firm or a less qualified firm that promise to give us hundreds of pieces of content and post every day for a very small price. Maybe it's $100 a month. And for me, it's always you get what you pay for. And most of the time, if you're paying for that amount of content, you're gonna get generic flyers that are rinse and repeat for all of their clients. And that's what I call blind social media-ing. I'm gonna coin that term, blind social media-ing. When we blind social media, we're treating it like it is a platform just for advertising. Like it's a bulletin board or old newspaper classified, if we remember what those are, right? Yes, we should advertise our event and organization on social media, but posting flyers that say, buy me, buy a ticket, come here, do this, I'm awesome, will lead us to little and no engagement on our accounts, and it will leave our accounts without growing our following. So that leads me to my next step. If we shouldn't post flyers all the time, what type of content should we post? In my opinion, and from my experience, the best types of content right now for social media are those that are shareable. Shareability, I believe, is the best metric when it comes to digital media. Shareability can be maybe just a visual, satisfying clip of food. It could be a speech excerpt of someone giving wisdom from a panel. It could be tips to help your followers with a particular problem. Or it could just be a funny sketch. Social and digital media is all about being social. And to me, socializing equals sharing, right? So think, when creating content, what should I make others want to share that I'm creating? Am I educating them? Am I entertaining them? Am I funny? Am I cute? Or is this just an advertisement? And if it is just an advertisement, can I give people value? With the new TikTok phenomenon, it appears more platforms like YouTube and Instagram, etc., are going to become more content-centric instead of follower-centric. What does this mean? From my understanding, it means that if your content is good and shareable, you can have views and good social media presence regardless of your follower count. These things may change by the time you listen to this, but for right now, you can have 10 followers and get a reel that gets 10,000 views, or you can have 50,000 followers and post a reel that only gets 500 views. The platforms are pushing content that is shareable and engaging. So let's go out there and create content that is such. So here are 2 examples. We create and manage digital content for a former professional athlete who has over 50,000 followers. And sometimes we hit the mark with content and it'll get 20, 30, 40, 50,000 views. And other times we don't hit the mark with the shareable content because, hey, it's the internet, we can't control every variable, and it only gets 1,000 views. So that shows us that the algorithm is only allowing us to reach a certain percentage of the audience. However, if that content is shareable, it will reach an even more mass audience. So I'll give you another example. With my personal brand, Secrets of Silent Success, less than 8 months ago, the page only had 3,000 followers, and I'd never had more than 20,000 views on a video. However, after working with the team to create engaging and shareable content, we had one post that got 700,000 views and got our follower count to about 8,000. Then we got a second post that had over 1 million views, over 90 remixes on social media, totaling another 1 million views. And now the follower count is at 15,000 followers, and we're averaging more and more views on our content because we're making it both shareable and engaging. So here's the next step. How does my team and I work to create engaging and shareable content? We use the hook S.P.A method with all of our video and reel content in particular. I learned this method from my speaking coach, Chris Singleton, about doing live speech presentations, and I moved it over to video, added the hook part, and it has really helped for us to create sticky social media content. So what is the hook SPA method? The hook is what's going to capture the viewer's attention in the first 3 seconds. It needs to be the meatiest, the most engaging, the best part of your video up front. And yes, it can be a repurpose of what happens in the rest of the video. For short videos, maybe it's just a one-liner, or for a long form video, it can literally be a recap of everything that's going to be in the video, just condensed down to a shorter portion and put it at the front. The second part of the hook SPA method is the S, the story. What is the story? A story should be personal. It should include evidence. It should include a demonstration. You want to bring in the viewer. We as humans, we love storytelling. That's why we go to the movies. That's why we spend money on Netflix. We love storytelling. Even in a 30 to 60 second reel, there is a story to be told. So tell it. The P stands for principle. The principle is the overarching theme of the video. How do we want the viewer to feel? What's the key takeaway? Do we want them to laugh? Do we want them to learn a money or finance principle? Or do we want them to feel sad about the sad dog that's in the video? What's the overarching theme? That's the P, that's the principle. And the A stands for application. That's the call to action. That's the advice, that's the tip that we want the person to take away. That's the takeaway, right? So for example, if we had a finance video, because my personal brand, I make some finance videos, and we talk about you should save more money than you spend, and then I give a tip on how to do that. Save 10% of everything that you make. That's the application. That's the takeaway. That's the call to action. That's what we need to put at the end of the video to close it all together. And overall, that is your hook SPA method.